The night I nearly died in a car crash, my fiancée chose partying with her ex. Over helping me saying, just call 911, I can't ditch him for you. So I canceled the wedding. Now she's the one drowning in regret. All right, Reddit. So I crashed my truck on a remote highway with a compound fracture, called my fiancée for help, and she told me to handle it myself because she was out with her ex who needed her more. I ended the engagement that night. She came back and destroyed everything I loved. The revenge? She's paying for it monthly. Grab some popcorn because this gets way better. 31 male. About 10 months ago, I was engaged to someone I genuinely thought gave a dang whether I lived or died. The night everything went sideways, and I mean that literally. My truck did a full barrel roll. I'd been coming back from a week-long job, 3 hours North Pipeline repair work. Union gig, double overtime. The kind of money you don't turn down when you're trying to fund your fiancé's dream wedding. Katie wanted the venue with the chandelier ballroom and the 7-course meal. That stuff doesn't pay for itself. I'd left at 9 p.m. after finishing the last weld inspection. Figured I'd be home by midnight. Take a shower, crash in my own bed, maybe work on the Triumph in my garage for an hour before sleep. I had 3 vintage bikes in various stages of restoration. A 72 Bonneville, an 84 Nighthawk, and a Harley Sportster I'd pulled from a barn. It was my escape from wedding planning conversations about napkin colors. Route 34 runs through the Cascade foothills. 2 lanes, no lights, nothing but trees. I'd driven it 100 times. But not at 11:30 p.m. after working 12-hour shifts for 7 straight days. I didn't see the elk until it was there, 600 pounds of antlers standing in my lane. I jerked the wheel left, and my F-150 flipped. Glass exploded. My left arm made a sound like a tree branch snapping. The airbag hit me hard enough to bloody my nose. Then everything stopped moving. I was hanging upside down in my seatbelt. My left arm was bent at an angle. Arms aren't designed for compound fracture. Bone sticking through skin. My ribs felt crushed. Face cut up from glass. Blood dripping onto the ceiling that was now the floor. But I was conscious, and my phone had somehow stayed in the cup holder. I fumbled it out with my good hand. Screen was cracked but functional. 11:51 p.m. First call, Katie, my fiancée of 9 months. The person who was supposed to be my emergency contact. She answered on the 6th ring. I could hear music thumping in the background. That specific kind of bass-heavy noise that only comes from clubs trying too hard. Rowdy? Her voice was slurred, clearly not herself. What's wrong? I'm kind of busy right now. I crashed. My voice came out weird. Shaky. I think I was repeating myself, but I can't really remember. Everything was blurry. Bad. Truck's upside down. My arms really messed up. I can see bone. I could hear her moving, heels clicking on what sounded like a bathroom floor. The music got quieter. Okay, so, did you call 911 yet? Or AAA? Katie, I'm hanging upside down in a ditch. My arm's broken. Like, broken in half. I need help. Right, yeah. But like, you have a phone. You can call for an ambulance yourself, right? I'm at this thing with Parker, and I really can't leave right now. Parker. Her ex-boyfriend. The guy she dated for 4 years before me. The guy who dumped her senior year of college and apparently never quite left her system. You're with Parker. Yeah, he invited me out, and I couldn't really say no. You know he's my first love, Rowdy. You understand. He's having a really rough night with his family stuff, and I promised I'd be here for him. You can handle calling 911. You're capable. I'll see you when I get home, okay? She hung up. I sat there, hung there, in my destroyed truck, arms screaming, blood everywhere, and had a moment of absolute clarity. This woman just told me her ex-boyfriend needed her more than I did while I was bleeding out in a crashed vehicle. I called 911 myself, gave them my location, described the situation. They were professional and calm, and they definitely didn't tell me their ex was more important. Fire department got there in 18 minutes. EMTs had me out in 10 more. My left arm was destroyed. Compound fracture of both radius and ulna, needed surgery and pins. Busted ribs. Cuts everywhere, mild concussion, but alive. They loaded me into the ambulance. One of the EMTs asked if I wanted them to call anyone. Nah, I said. I'm good. My buddy Duncan showed up at the hospital around 3 a.m. I'd texted him from the ER. He walked in with coffee and the kind of expression that told me he already knew. She didn't come, he said. She was busy. With Parker. Her ex-Parker? That's the one. Duncan was quiet. Then, man, forget that girl. Let's focus on you. The surgeon came in around 4 a.m., took one look at my arm and said, I'd need surgery in 2 hours. Pins and plates. 6 to 8 weeks recovery before I could use it normally. 3 to 4 months for full strength. What do you do for work? Welder, pipeline, and structural. You're out for at least 2 months, maybe 3. Surgery went fine. Hardware installed, arm reconstructed. I woke up around 9 a.m. with a cast from knuckles to shoulder and pain meds I knew I'd need. Duncan drove me home around noon. Katie's car wasn't in the driveway. You want me to wait? Duncan asked. Nah, I got this. Thanks for coming, man. Call me if you need anything. Seriously, anything. I went inside with my one good arm and my duffel bag from the work trip. The apartment was empty. While I waited, sitting on that couch with my demolished arm, I had time to think about how we'd even gotten here. The funny thing is, Katie pursued me first. We met at a buddy's cookout 2 years ago. I was in the corner working on someone's busted grill igniter because that's apparently what I do at parties. She came over, watched me fix it, and said something like, a guy who can actually solve problems instead of just complaining about them. That's rare. She asked for my number. Called me the next day. Planned our first 3 dates herself because I wasn't moving fast enough for her liking. She told her friends I was different from the guys she usually dated, more stable. Had my life together. Wasn't trying to impress anyone. You're like, solid, she'd said once early on. You know who you are, that's hot. I sat on the couch and pulled out my phone. Found her location sharing. Yeah, we had that turned on. The modern relationship thing. She was at the Riverside Apartments, east side of town. I looked up the address. Luxury complex. Way outside our budget. Then I looked up the resident directory public record. Takes 2 minutes to find. Unit 347. Parker. She'd spent the night at her ex-boyfriend's apartment. While I was getting my arm surgically reconstructed, I took screenshots. Didn't know what I'd do with them yet, but I took them. Sadie came home around 2 p.m. I heard her car pull up, heard the door open, heard her heels on the hardwood. Rowdy? Her voice was careful, testing. You home? I stayed on the couch. She walked into the living room, still wearing last night's clothes. Makeup smeared, hair a mess, reeking of things I didn't want to think about. Hey, babe. She tried to smile. How are you feeling? I heard about the accident from your mom. She called me this morning. Sounds like it was scary. My mom called you. Yeah, she was worried because you weren't answering. I told her you were probably just sleeping. Are you okay? I held up my casted arm. Compound fracture. Surgery this morning. 6 to 8 weeks recovery. Can't work for at least 2 months? Oh my God, that's terrible. She didn't move toward me. Didn't ask to see it. Didn't offer sympathy. Just stood there calculating. Did insurance cover the surgery? That's your first question? Well, I mean, we have the wedding expenses and now this. So yeah, I'm concerned about money. Don't be defensive. I stared at her. There is no wedding. What? Don't make a big deal. I was just with Parker. He was having a crisis and needed someone to talk to. At a club? We went to a club, yeah. He needed to blow off steam. And then where did you sleep, Katie? She crossed her arms. I crashed at his place. I was too out of it to drive. Nothing happened, if that's what you're implying. You spent the night at your ex-boyfriend's apartment while I was in surgery. You're making it sound worse than it is. It was just a couch. It's not a big deal. You told me he was your first love. Her face went pale. I don't remember saying that. You did. I was not myself. You're being dramatic about this. I was upside down in a crashed truck with a compound fracture, and you told me your ex-boyfriend needed you more than I did. Rowdy, come on. You're twisting my words. I was trying to help a friend in crisis. You're always so independent, I thought you could handle yourself. And you did. You got yourself to the hospital fine. Get out. What? Pack your stuff and get out. We're done. She laughed. You're breaking up with me because I helped a friend? Are you serious right now? Dead serious. This is insane. You're being insane. I'm not going anywhere. We're getting married in 3 months. No, we're not. Get your stuff and leave. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Then her expression shifted from disbelief to anger. Fine, fine. You want me gone? I'll pack my stuff, but you're going to regret this. Stay miserable with your broken arm. She stormed to the bedroom, started throwing clothes into suitcases, slamming drawers, making as much noise as possible. I sat on the couch and waited. My arm was killing me. The pain meds were wearing off, and I hadn't taken the next dose yet. 2 hours later, she had 3 suitcases and 4 boxes piled by the door. She was still muttering under her breath about how unreasonable I was being. That's everything? I asked. Yes. Happy now? Ring. What? I held out my good hand. The ring. Give it back. Her eyes went wide. Are you kidding? This was a gift. You can't just take it back. It was a promise. Promise is broken. Ring comes back. Legally, it's mine. Once you give someone an engagement ring, it's their property. I looked it up. Actually, in this state, an engagement ring is considered a conditional gift condition being marriage. No marriage, no ring. Give it back. She clutched her left hand to her chest like I was trying to steal a kidney. You can't make me. I can, and I am. Give me the ring, or I'll take you to small claims court and let them explain it to you. Your choice. You're such a piece of work. You know that? You're a controlling jerk. No wonder I spent time with Parker. He actually treats me like an adult. Ring, now, she screamed. Literally screamed in frustration. Then she ripped the ring off her finger and threw it at me. It bounced off my cast and skittered across the floor. There, take your precious ring. I hope you choke on it. She grabbed her bags and stormed toward the door. Then she stopped, turned around, and looked at me with something ugly in her eyes. You know what? I'm glad I spent the night with Parker. I'm glad I chose him over you. He's twice the man you'll ever be, and I was settling for you anyway. You were always just the safe choice. Boring choice. And what I really want is someone who isn't you. Maybe if you weren't such a jerk, God wouldn't have made your truck crash. She slammed the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I sat there for a minute. Then I bent down, picked up my grandmother's ring, and put it in my pocket. My arm was screaming by the time she left. I took 2 of the pain pills the hospital gave me. Way more than I probably should have on an empty stomach. But I didn't care. I just wanted the pain to stop. I don't remember walking to the bedroom. Don't remember lying down. The meds hit me like a truck, and I was out cold. I woke up disoriented, room dark, no idea what time it was. My phone said 8:47 p.m. I'd been asleep for almost 5 hours. My arm was throbbing but manageable. My mouth was dry. I was starving, and I wanted to see the triumph. Stupid, maybe, but my bikes always cleared my head. Gave me something to focus on that wasn't relationship drama or medical bills, or how screwed my life had just become. I got up, still groggy, and headed toward the garage. The door was closed. That was weird. I usually left it open when I was home. But whatever. Maybe I'd closed it before the work trip and forgot I opened it and turned on the light. The garage looked like a bomb had gone off. I just stood there. Couldn't process it. The Triumph was destroyed. Front fender bent in half. Mirrors shattered. Gas tank dented. Custom paint gouged to bare metal. Headlights smashed. Instrument cluster demolished. The Nighthawk had a hole punched in the side panel. Engine damage. Cylinder head dented. The Sportster's fuel tank, custom fabricated, 3 months of searching, had a hole punched through it. Front fork bent. Parts everywhere. Pegboard swept clean. Chrome mirrors. Electrical components. Custom carburetors smashed. My legs stopped working. I sat down hard. 6 months of work. Hundreds of hours. Thousands of dollars. Gone. I sat there in the wreckage for maybe 20 minutes, just staring, trying to understand, trying to process. Then I remembered. The camera. I'd installed a security camera 6 months ago after someone broke into my neighbor's shed, basic wireless setup, records to the cloud, motion activated. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and opened the app. There it was. 6:47 p.m. motion detected. I hit play. Katie came into frame. She was still in the same clothes from earlier, but something was different. Her movements were jerky, aggressive. She'd been getting more worked up. I could tell from the way she moved. She had my spare garage key. Must have kept it when she moved her stuff out. She stood there for a second, looking at the bikes. Then she picked up a tire iron from my workbench. What followed was 12 minutes and 47 seconds of systematic destruction. She started with the Triumph, brought the tire iron down on the fender. Again. Moved to the gas tank. 3 massive hits. The whole time she was crying and screaming. I couldn't make out most of it, but I caught pieces. Love these things more than me. Don't get to just move on. Taking something from you too. Then the Sportster. The fuel tank I'd searched for months to find. She punched the tire iron straight through it. Swept the pegboard clean. Threw my vintage carburetor set against the wall. Finally, she just stopped. Dropped the tire iron. Stood there breathing hard. Makeup running down her face. Then she looked up at something. Realized it was the camera. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed her purse and ran. I watched the video 3 more times. Saved it to my phone. Downloaded it to cloud storage. Sent a copy to Duncan's email with the subject line evidence. Then I called 911. The responding officer showed up and was professional. He took one look at the garage and let out a low whistle. Man, someone really had it out for you. My ex-fiancée broke up with her this afternoon. She came back while I was asleep. I showed him the video. He watched the whole thing, taking notes. This is pretty clear-cut destruction of property. You have an estimate of damages? I didn't yet. Couldn't think that clearly. I'll need to itemize everything. Probably 10,000 minimum. Okay, I'll file this tonight. You should hear from someone tomorrow. They'll walk you through the next steps on follow-up for property crimes. He photographed everything, took my statement, gave me a case number. After he left, I just stood in the garage. Couldn't bring myself to touch anything yet. Couldn't bring myself to start cleaning up. I called Duncan. Dude, it's almost 11. You okay? She destroyed the bikes, all 3 of them. What? Rowdy, what the heck? Can you come over tomorrow? Help me document everything? I need to file a lawsuit and I can't do this by myself. Yeah, absolutely. First thing in the morning? You need me to come now? No, just tomorrow's fine. I hung up and looked at the wreckage again. Part of me wanted to put my fist through a wall. Part of me just felt numb. Mostly, I just felt tired. I went back inside, took another pain pill, and tried to sleep. Duncan showed up at 8 a.m. with coffee and breakfast. We spent 4 hours in the garage documenting everything. Photos from every angle. Video walkthrough. Itemized list of every damaged part with receipts. By the time we were done, I had a spreadsheet showing conservative damages at $11,400. You're suing her, right? Duncan asked. Yeah. Small claims max is $10,000, so that's what I'll file for. Good. She needs to pay for this. She destroyed your property because you wouldn't take her back. That's not emotion. That's crime. That's what my dad said too. Your dad's right. File the lawsuit. 3 days later, the investigator handling the case called me. They'd reviewed everything, talked to the responding officer, watched the video. The disability payments took 3 weeks to start coming through. In the meantime, I had to dip into my savings to cover rent and bills. Not a lot of cushion there. Most of my extra money had gone to wedding planning and bike parts I called the venue about canceling. The coordinator was sympathetic but could only do so much. Lost $1,200 of the deposit instead of the full $3,000. Not great, but better than nothing. I filed the small claims lawsuit on a Monday morning. Maximum amount $10,000. Attached the police report, the video, receipts for every part, before and after photos. The clerk looked it over and nodded. Court date will be in about 4 months. We're pretty backed up. That's fine. I want to request service at her workplace. Let's do that. Katie worked as a receptionist at the Belmont Country Club, one of those places where memberships cost more than most people's cars. I made sure the process server showed up at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, when the lobby would be full of rich people checking in for their tennis lessons. Maximum embarrassment. 4 months is a long time when you're waiting for justice. My arm healed slowly. Physical therapy twice a week. Exercises at home. Gradual improvement. At 6 weeks, they took the cast off and I could see how much muscle I'd lost. My left arm looked like a twig compared to my right. I got cleared for light-duty work after 8 weeks. Couldn't weld yet, but I could do inspections and paperwork. Better than nothing. The full paycheck started again, which helped. Around week 10, I got a letter in the mail. From Katie. Handwritten. Careful penmanship. It started with, "Rowdy, I'm sorry." Then it went downhill fast. She wrote about how the garnishment was killing her finances, how she had to move to a cheaper apartment because she couldn't afford her rent anymore, how people at the country club found out about the lawsuit, and now everyone was talking about her, how her coworkers whispered when she walked by, how her manager pulled her aside to ask if everything was okay at home, how her reputation was completely destroyed, and it was affecting her ability to do her job. She said the monthly payments were making it impossible for her to save money or have any kind of life, that she couldn't go out with friends or buy new clothes or do anything because every spare dollar went to me. She wrote that she understood I was angry, and she got why. But didn't I think she'd suffered enough? Wasn't losing me punishment enough without losing her financial stability too? She offered to set up a payment plan voluntarily, if I'd just dropped the lawsuit. Said we could work something out that wouldn't destroy her life. Said she needed this to stop. The whole thing was 5 pages of how hard this was for her, how much she was struggling, how unfair it was that one mistake was costing her everything. Not once did she mention the bikes. Not once did she acknowledge what she'd actually destroyed or why she'd done it. I didn't respond. Kept the lawsuit going. Duncan's girlfriend mentioned once that she thought the payments were harsh. Duncan shut that down immediately, but I heard about it. Made me wonder if other people thought I was being petty. Then I'd look at the Triumph frame in my garage, bent beyond repair, total loss, and I'd stop wondering. Around month 3, I heard through the grapevine that Parker had a girlfriend. Not from the night Katie stayed over, an actual girlfriend he'd been seeing for a few months. Meaning when Katie was texting him, when she went to his place, She was side action entertainment, an ego boost while he built something real with someone else. I didn't feel good about that exactly, but I didn't feel bad either. Then about a month later, I heard the rest of it through Duncan's cousin, who ran in the same circles as Parker. Turned out Parker's girlfriend found out about Katie staying over that night. Someone at the club where they'd been saw them together and mentioned it to someone else, and it eventually got back to the girlfriend. She dumped him immediately, didn't even give him a chance to explain, just saw the text Sadie had been sending him after the breakup and decided she was done. But it got worse for Parker. Katie didn't handle the rejection well. After I cut her off completely, she pivoted to Parker. Started showing up at his place unannounced, called him at weird hours, sent him long messages about how they were meant to be together, how she'd made a mistake choosing me, how they should give their relationship another shot. I heard that eventually he had to get building security involved at his apartment complex, put her name on a do not allow list. I heard he was considering a restraining order of his own, but never pulled the trigger. Well, it sucks to suck. The hearing was scheduled for mid-afternoon on a Thursday. I showed up in an arm finally out of the brace, but still wearing the scar from surgery. Brought my evidence binder, laptop with the video queued up, and zero sympathy. Katie showed up 10 minutes late with representation. Someone who looked overworked and underpaid. She was wearing a blazer and pencil skirt, trying to look responsible. The presiding official was experienced and clearly had seen every excuse in the book. Case number 47-823, Rowdy Bennett versus Katie Zillman. Mr. Bennett, you're alleging destruction of property valued at $10,000? Yes, Your Honor. I have video evidence and full documentation. Ms. Zillman, how do you plead? Her representative stood up. Your Honor, my client disputes the valuation and maintains she was under extreme emotional distress at the time of the incident. The official looked unimpressed. This is small claims court, counselor. I'm here to determine property damage, not relationship dynamics, Mr. Bennett. Show me what you have. I played the video. All 12 minutes and 47 seconds. You could hear every impact, every scream, every word Katie said. The official watched without comment. When it finished, do you dispute that this is you in the video, Miss Zillman? No, Your Honor. But he'd just broken off our engagement in a very cruel way, and I was emotionally... Did he break your property? No, but did he threaten you? Not exactly, but Mrs. Zillman, I don't care about your relationship problems. What I see is deliberate destruction of property. Mr. Bennett, walk me through your damages. I went through the binder. Every part, every receipt, every repair estimate. The official took notes, asked questions, verified documentation. 40 minutes later, Mr. Bennett, your documentation is exceptional. I'm awarding you the full $10,000 plus court costs and service fees. Total judgment, $10,162. Monthly payments of $500 until satisfied. If Ms. Zillman misses a payment, you can garnish her wages. Court is adjourned. Katie's face went white. Outside, Duncan was waiting. How'd it go? 10,000 plus costs. 500 a month. That's 20 months of her remembering what she did. Yeah. We got lunch I paid with money from my first full paycheck back. Felt right somehow. Things kept on getting better. Around month 7 after the accident, things got weird. I was working late on a Friday, finishing up some inspection paperwork, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Rowdy? Katie's voice, shaky but not impaired this time. Please don't hang up. What do you want? I need to tell you something. I'm going to prove I still love you. I'm going to do something that shows I'm serious about wanting you back. Katie, we're not doing this. I'm hanging up. Wait, just listen. I'm getting your name tattooed on my arm, permanently, so you'll know I'm committed, so you'll see I'm not giving up on us. I paused, tried to process what she'd just said. Are you serious right now? Yes. I already booked the appointment, tomorrow afternoon. I'm getting Rowdy in big letters on my forearm. Then you'll know I'm not going anywhere. Then you'll take me back. Katie, I don't care if you tattoo my face on your chest. We are done. I'm doing it. And when you see it, you're going to realize how much I love you. You're going to forgive me. I'm not forgiving you. The tattoo won't change anything. Do not do this. You don't believe me. You think I'm lying. But I'm going to prove it. Tomorrow, Rowdy. I'm proving it tomorrow. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there staring at my phone. She wouldn't actually do it. This was just another attention grab. Another desperate attempt to get a reaction out of me. She'd talk big, then chicken out at the last minute like she did with everything else. But a small part of me wondered if she was actually that far gone. I met Anaya 3 months after the court date. Well, I'd known her longer than that. She worked at Apex Auto Parts, the shop I'd been going to for years. We'd talked before, quick conversations about carburetors and spark plugs. This time was different. I walked in looking for parts for the Sportster. She was behind the counter, grease stain on her cheek like she'd been working in the back. Rowdy, hey, thought you were working on the Bonneville? Long story, that one's gone. Working on the Sportster now. What happened? I told her. The accident, the breakup, the destruction, the lawsuit, all of it. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she just nodded. Your ex sounds like a piece of work. We talked bikes for 20 minutes. Turned out she restored vintage Hondas. Had a 78 CB 750 she was rebuilding. You should come check it out sometime, if you want. I got her number. Texted her that night. We met up the following weekend. Her garage was clean, organized, the CB 750 about 80% done. We spent 3 hours talking restoration techniques. Over the next few months, we hung out regularly, working on bikes, grabbing food after, just existing in the same space. It was easy, comfortable, but she was hesitant. I like you, she said one night, 4 months in. But I need you to know I'm not rushing into anything. I don't do drama, and I don't do complicated. That's fine. I'm not asking for complicated. We made it official around month 5 of knowing each other. Nothing dramatic. Just a conversation in her garage where she asked, so are we actually dating or what? And I said, yeah, we're dating. And that was that first time I'd felt completely free in almost a year. About a month after Anaya and I started hanging out, I got my answer about whether Katie would actually go through with the tattoo. I was in the garage with Anaya, working on her CB 750. It was comfortable, easy, no drama. We heard stumbling on the driveway around 7 p.m. Katie burst in wearing yesterday's clothes, makeup smeared, eyes wild. Fresh bandage wrapped around her left forearm. Rowdy! Crying immediately. Look what I did for you! She peeled back the bandage with shaking hands. There it was. My name, Rowdy, in massive block letters, black ink, covering most of her inner forearm. The skin around it was red and inflamed, clearly infected. The letters were uneven, the line work shaky. It looked like it had been done by someone who'd never held a tattoo gun before. I did it! I told you I would! This proves I love you. I stared at her. Katie, that's the dumbest thing you've ever done. No, it's romantic. It shows commitment. Funny that you talk about commitment. She noticed Anaya. Her eyes went wide, then narrow. Who the heck is this? None of your business. You moved on. You already moved on. For about 30 seconds, Katie looked genuinely broken. Not manipulative. Not playing for sympathy. Just real pain. Her face crumpled, and she started crying in a way that actually seemed human. You don't know him, Katie said to Anaya, voice cracking. You don't know how controlling he is. How boring. Good luck with that. Anaya crossed her arms. He seems pretty great to me. But thanks for the input. Something snapped. Katie lunged forward, trying to get past me. You don't know anything about him. I stepped in front of her. Katie, leave. Now. No. You don't get to move on. You don't get to replace me with some random shop girl. She shoved me hard. I barely moved. She tried again, screaming now, completely unhinged. Then she went for Anaya. She ducked around me and swung wild, nails out, aiming for Anaya's face. Anaya stepped back fast, and Katie's hand caught nothing but air. She stumbled forward, tried again. I'll rip your hair out! He's mine! I grabbed Katie's arm and pulled her back. She twisted around and slapped me across the face. Hard. The crack echoed through the garage. All right, we're done here. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. What are you doing? Katie's eyes went wild. You're calling the cops on me? On me? Yeah, you just assaulted 2 people. Pretty straightforward. She lunged at my phone, trying to knock it out of my hand. I held it up higher. The dispatcher answered, 911. What's your emergency? Yeah, I need police at 4487 Riverside Drive. My ex-fiancée broke into my garage, she's impaired, and she just physically attacked me and my girlfriend. I also have a restraining order against her that she's violating. No! Katie screamed. He's lying! He's lying! We're engaged! Tell them we're engaged! The dispatcher stayed calm. Officers are en route. Can you stay on the line? Yeah, I'm good. She's not armed, just unstable. Katie completely lost it. She started pacing, screaming, crying, waving her infected tattoo around like evidence in a trial. You can't do this to me. I got your name tattooed. Look at it. I'm committed. We're getting married. We're not. We haven't been together in 8 months. That doesn't matter. You're my fiancé. You're mine. Sirens in the distance. Katie heard them too. Her face went pale. No. You didn't. You actually called the cops on me? Yep. 2 patrol cars pulled up 4 officers. Katie immediately switched modes, crying, shaking, playing victim. Officers, thank God you're here. My fiancé is trying to... Ma'am, step back! The lead officer wasn't buying it. He looked at me. You're the homeowner? Yeah, she's trespassing. I have a restraining order. I pulled it up on my phone. She violated it. She also just assaulted both of us. Katie's face crumbled. Babe, please. Babe, you're my fiancé. Tell them. Tell them we're engaged. Show them the ring. The officers looked at her, then at me. Sir, do you want to press charges? Absolutely. They cuffed her. She fought the whole way, screaming my name, sobbing, begging. Rowdy, babe! Don't do this! We're supposed to get married! I love you! They loaded her into the car. Even through the window, I could hear her. Anaya watched the whole thing, arms crossed, expression unreadable. When the cars finally pulled away, she looked at me. So that's your ex? Yeah, that's her. She's completely insane. Yep. You good? Yeah, I'm good. She nodded. All right, let's finish the carburetor. And we did. It's been over a year since the accident now. The Sportster runs perfectly. Anaya and I took it on a road trip last month. 2 bikes, open roads, no drama. The Nighthawk has a new paint job. Retro Honda racing scheme. Looks incredible. The Triumph's gone. Sold for parts. Used that money to buy components for the other 2. My arm's at 95% strength. Still have a gnarly scar that makes for decent conversation starters. Anaya and I are good. She's careful, takes things slow, but she shows up. That's what matters. Katie moved 2 hours away to a city where nobody knows her story. Still paying me $500 a month, 11 payments left. The tattoo's permanent laser removal costs thousands and takes years. My name's staying on her arm. Parker's still dealing with his own mess. Last I heard, he's single and staying that way. Apparently watching someone spiral because of him made the whole player routine less appealing. Good. Katie's parents are disappointed but supportive in their own way. Her mom sent me a Christmas card apologizing again. As for me, life's good. I got a restraining order that held up in court. Got my settlement payments coming in on schedule. Got a woman who shows up when she says she will. Got bikes that run. Got an arm that works. Katie's got a tattoo, a payment plan, a restraining order, and a new city where she can pretend to be someone different. Which one of us won? Yeah, exactly. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.